Good evening, and welcome to the City of Douglasville Planning Commission meeting. I am Francisco Artley, the chairman of the Planning Commission. The other members of the Planning Commission are Natalie Fegan, Keith Burnett, Nathan Zachary, Joy Bates, Ralph Benton, and Mark Fan. The staff members are Shaylee Reed, Community Development Director, and Chelsea Tubbs, Planner 1. There are a few protocol items I need to make you aware of before we start the meeting. Please listen closely on how tonight's meeting will be conducted. Keep your comments and your presentation on a professional level, dealing with the facts that are important for this commission to make its decision. We will not accept comments that are considered by the chair to be a personal attack on any individual or group of individuals. You will receive a warning from the chair if you deviate from this requirement. A second deviation will result in a request for you to leave the meeting and the premises for the evening. Refrain from any applause or comments from the audience. Only one person will be talking at a time, and all comments will be made at the podium after the speaker has been recognized by the chair. Please direct all comments to the chair and the commission, not to the audience or the staff. Please do not applaud or react to speakers, speak from the audience, cheer, carry on a conversation with others in the audience, or disrupt the order of this meeting in any way. Be aware that these hearings are not a debate or an opportunity to ask questions which must be answered by any individual tonight, but merely an opportunity to present information to this commission. Other than the applicant, no person may speak more than once. The applicant may reserve part of their speaking time as a rebuttal and may speak next and last and may use the entire 20 minutes allotted for the pro side of the application. Other than the applicant, no person may speak longer than 5 minutes. If you have a cell phone or any other electronic device, I ask that you either power them off or put them in silent mode. If anyone wishes to speak tonight, please fill out a form available at the table up front and hand to the staff before approaching the podium. After each case is called, we will hear next from the planning and zoning staff, and then we will hear from the applicant or their representative about what their plans are for the property, along with any other relevant information they wish to present. The commission members will be free to ask questions at any time before the vote on a project. Following the applicant, anyone who wishes to speak for or against the project or just ask questions will have an opportunity to do so. The city ordinance restricts each side to a maximum of 20 minutes, or time may be waived at the discretion of the presiding official. If questions are raised, we may ask the applicant to speak again. Afterward, we will call for a motion and a second, have any necessary discussion, and if the matter is not tabled, we will vote to recommend approval or denial of this application. This commission is only a recommending body. The item will be heard by the mayor and council. Whether we recommend approval or recommend denial, unless tabled, these items will be heard by the city's mayor and council at their next legislative meeting. That's Thursday, the, huh? Okay. The 5th, the when? The 11th and the 15th, and voted on the 15th. Thank you. I had my old notes. I need a recommendation to approve the minutes.
I move that we approve the minutes.
Do I have a
Last
second?
meeting.
All right, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the minutes have been passed. Okay. The first case is item 22-217. Hold a public hearing and consider a request for a change in zoning from GC General Commercial District to LI Light Industrial District for plus or minus 11.12 acres located at 12051 Veterans Memorial Highway in land lot 825, District 18, Section 2, Parcel A is an Alpha 002. Application by Brennan Development Company with Arthur Brannon. Staff will now present the item.
Good evening, Planning Commissioners. I'm Shayla Reed, the Community Development Director at 6701 Church Street. We have before you a rezoning request for property located at Veterans Memorial Highway. This property currently, sorry, my clicker isn't on. The property, as mentioned, is owned by Brennan Development Company as the applicant and is in an industrial warehouse as the proposed development. The property is consisting of 10.66 acres. It's currently zoned general commercial and being requested to be rezoned as light industrial. Sorry. The property, as you can see, is located along Fulton Industrial, Veterans Memorial Highway. With that, the property, as mentioned, is single-family residential nearby and commercial nearby as well. Those properties are immediately adjacent to the location. They are requesting to have it industrial and allowing for there to be an opportunity for a warehouse to be located there. Our future land use does allow for that industrial use, and it allows for other uses as well as the general commercial and additional residential as well. As you're seeing, the sign was posted for the meeting, giving an opportunity for notifications to be provided to surrounding properties. In addition to that, notification was mailed out to the surrounding properties as well. As you can see, there's 2 residential structures located on the site right now. And should there be an opportunity to develop there, they are planning to remove those structures. Here is the structure itself to give an idea of what that building would be, 135,250 square feet with 6,750 square feet of office and 126,775 square feet of warehouse. The property consists of 10.66 acres. So this is a rendering of what the elevation is being proposed of for the site. So staff does not find necessarily industrial to be suitable for the location because it's immediately adjacent to residential. However, should this be a recommendation that you provide over to council, we are recommending that if you're recommending approval to allow for the remaining 50-foot natural buffer to remain. In addition to that, require a 100-foot setback to achieve that opaque visual screening. Basically, require there to be a setback of 150 feet. With that, staff also says that if you rezone it, there's going to need to be a change in character area from MUD to the light industrial. So with that, that concludes my report. Again, if you recommend approval or denial, that recommendation goes to council on the 11th, and again, for discussion and vote on the 15th of August.
Thank you. Are there any questions for staff? Thank you.
Thank you.
Will the applicant come forward and state their name and address for the record? Tell us what you intend to do on this property.
Good evening. I'm Fred Bentley Jr. It's good to see y'all again. I'm an attorney in Marietta and working with, as they say, the Brannon brothers. Mitchell Brannon is with Brannon Goddard. They're among the foremost leaders in terms of industrial and commercial type uses in really this part of the world is the best way to describe it. They're seasoned professionals. They know what they're doing. And we appreciate the opportunity to be in front of you today. Again, it's a 10.66 acre tract. And I've got some visuals that I think may help. And if I may approach just slightly.
Yes.
You can get a picture of what this looks like with the site being this 4 and 5. And then you've got a junkyard that's located in this area here. And then you can see there's a used car lot. And then there's a lawnmower repair. And then coming back the part of their property is a closed car wash. And then there's pretty much a rundown motel. And then across the street, you have a major industrial complex. And of course, there's no access. The train tracks keep traffic. So essentially, you're not going to have any real traffic issues that show up in this area. So that's just to give you a little idea of what's there, and I've got some close-up pictures that'll hopefully show you a little bit more. So directly across the street, in terms of looking at the neighborhood, and again, also across the street, and then we'll show you a picture of the motel. Again, across the street here to my left, I guess for your right, and then here's the motel. Can I see it?
Mm-hmm.
Closed car wash, and then the existing home on the property.
Right.
That would be like a 2-minute car wash. You gotta
Yep.
go right in.
Is that on the property now?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And you recall I talked about the junkyard, and then you can see the used car lot and Rick's used appliances. Okay.
Right.
Okay. Finally, the lawnmower repair place. And then we also have just a depicted layout, not asking any variances to it. Obviously, we have an engineer here. If you have questions about the potential layout on it, they've looked at it. The size may change, obviously, in terms of condition that's out on the site.
Right.
There was a picture. They have a landscape plan that they've worked out to be responsive to your staff requirements. And we just pass these down. This will give you a little opportunity to see. I'll start with another batch on this other end. And y'all may already have this in your packet. As they say, I think you would probably agree that this will certainly be a benefit to the area in terms of redeveloping it. This is not, something that would come in and create, it would have a nice office look on the front. It's tilt-up construction. It's, again, first class, and not in terms of size, because it's a very small warehouse. It would have maybe one, maybe two users, probably be somebody in the local community that would be delivering things. But the best part is, before we had a neighbor who showed up, and we talked with them, and they were like, we're good to go. And they're of course not here. As you know, we've been here, I think we've tried 3 times, the third time's the charm, and we thank you for the opportunity to be in front of you. I have Mr. Arthur Brannon, who is involved with it. Arthur, would you like to add any comments to it?
Just that we want to be a good neighbor. I think we would really help the area. It'd be a first-class project. A lot of landscaping. We would buffer around us to any residential areas. I think it'd really be good for the city of Douglasville. And you've got a new access point just up the road, so any vehicular traffic would just be on Veterans Memorial for a short distance to our property. And I don't think it would impact negatively anyone, and I think it would be a real positive and maybe create more development in the area.
And obviously, from a tax-based standpoint, in terms of preserving and really upping the scale, because this is part of your gateway. As I say, I used to come from Marietta, and so when you came that way, this would certainly work to improve an area that is probably in some need of, as I say, cleaning up just a little bit, and this is the way these things begin. And these folks are willing to come in and make a sizable investment in that regard. Are there any questions I can respond
I do.
to?
135,000 square feet, how big is that in reference to, what do you think?
Can you give them
I mean, it'd be like 3 acres
Okay.
out of the 11 would be the building, or 10 and a half.
All right, is it going to be, what I'm wondering, is it going to be more like a distribution center, or is it going to be
It'd be a
distribution center? Because it's right next to Duralee, and that's the school and the church and the neighborhoods, because I run through there all the time. And I think the issue we got now is, I wonder how many more semis we're going to have using it as a cut-through. Because you come right off 92, right where the Chick-fil-A is, and that car wash, you can cut right up there by the school and come right up Duralee and then make that left. And so I think that's my concern, is because it seems these 18-wheelers, I mean, I live on Presley Mill, which is a small road and it's a bunch of subdivisions, and now all of a sudden 18-wheelers are cutting through between Fairburn and Chapel Hill. So I think that was my concern when I looked at this. You're right, the area is pretty bad. But what I'm thinking, I'm wondering is how many more semis are we gonna add coming through there?
I think everybody's gonna come out of our property, hang a left, and go down to the new intersection and go straight to 20. I mean, nobody's gonna be cutting through neighborhoods. They don't wanna go through neighborhoods. You could always put restrictive signs to make sure they don't go through neighborhoods.
Right.
But I don't know if you'd even know any difference. It's not, for distribution, it's a small building. And, you know, it would not be a negative impact in any way. You wouldn't even notice the new tractor trailers coming in and out.
I mean, how many do you think they would handle, or how many do you expect?
I don't know, Mitchell might be a better.
Yes, if you want to come up.
Can he fill it out?
Good questions. Just to give you some background, we're the largest commercial industrial firm in town, about 53 million square feet of listings around the city. We do have done a number of Amazon deals. Just, I can go on and on, but so we're very familiar with the industrial market. So to help you on a local, that doesn't matter, except that I want to give you some basis of credibility. But I see this being some local user. My brother Artley lives in an industrial neighborhood in Chattahoochee, and on weekends they're great neighbors because generally not many people are there, to be candid with you. And you can go look at some of the neighborhoods over in Fulton Industrial. It's pretty dead on the weekends, so they're great weekend neighbor. And during the week, I would say would be my guess, and I can't guarantee anything. This is not somebody that has heavy distribution is not going to want to be over here. It's too far from I-20, to be candid with you. I see it probably being mostly storage uses, and I do think it would add, the attractiveness of the building and everything else would add a lot to the area. And warehouses actually are very good neighbors. If you go to Beaufort, Georgia, one of the best school systems in the states up there, and they have a huge amount of industrial warehousing up there. So I honestly don't think there'll be a huge impact. Again, I can't guarantee the tenant's going to be, but we're designing it for storage distribution, if that helps.
Let me address them. I think it's relevant to what you're going
Okay.
to say. So can you help us with an idea of, like, I know we're preliminary and, you know, I'm kind of familiar with this sort of thing, but like about how many tenants would kind of fit in the profile theoretically of this thing?
Our goal would be one tenant. We might put two.
Okay.
I don't see us making this, I mean, demand out here is, I think is for larger tenants, for us, for this property. We're not interested in getting a lot of small tenants at this point in time. I mean, you know, if that market goes away, then so be it. But this is a very small tenant relative to everything built in that immediate area, generally speaking.
Yeah, like, I think it would help everyone, just because everyone's a little down on industrial warehouses after some of the beatings we've taken, and I don't want you to fall into that category, you know what I mean? Because I think what you're trying to do is a pretty good thing here, but I just want to, it'll help everybody have some perspective. Like, you know, of your past, you've been doing this a long time, like, who would be an ideal tenant that we may know that might come in here that like that? Like, not that you're predicting the future, but I just mean that we could have some relative.
A profile would be probably somebody who has a local business, who probably lives somewhere in Douglas County, who's growing out of Fulton Industrial, and they want to get close to their house. They're, again, more storage. If you're distribution with a lot of trucks, you want to be right on I-20 because you don't want to fight the traffic going back and forth. So I hate to say local mom and pop, because mom and pop to me is 100,000 square feet. So y'all, that's probably a pretty big tenant around here. But could be anywhere from furniture storage, distribution. It could be anybody distributes, you know, that that lives in Douglas County, because generally people like to have their location and where they live close together. This is such a small warehouse. In relative terms, this is a tiny warehouse. Most people today don't like to build in less than 250,000 square feet. I don't know if that, I can make up names, but I'm not sure they'd be meaningful to
Right.
you. It wouldn't be, probably would not, my guess, it's not going to be a big public company. It's probably going to, again, be a local person who has a niche in the marketplace. Maybe, I mentioned furniture, but it could be any use like that.
Mattresses,
What's that?
Yeah.
mattresses.
Mattresses, yeah, it could be mattresses. No, that's too big for mattresses, I think.
So I did have one question on your design here. It shows 146 autos and 4 trailers. Is that to indicate there'll only be 4 docks for loading? Is that?
No.
Okay.
I haven't looked at the
4 storage trailers stored like park there, like parking.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Okay, yeah, I wasn't sure what that, thanks for clearing that up for me.
You always build, assuming that you might have 2 tenants in there, but we don't have, it's too small a lot and too small a building for really heavy distribution, but you've got the space back there, so you go ahead and put the truck doors in, because you don't know how they're gonna lay out the space. Different tenants have different layouts, so somebody may wanna put all their storage down on one, or the distribution on one end of that building, or the middle, or the other end. We don't know, so we just put docks in. Otherwise, it's just a concrete wall, which doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I was just trying to get clarity because it just identified 4 trailers and I wasn't sure. I just wanted to understand the language
Yes, okay.
here with that, yeah, okay.
So the dock doors are only on one side?
Yes.
Okay.
This is not a cross dock. There's not enough room for a cross dock here.
When we met with the planning department, they ensure that we screen that from the road. They don't want to see any of the trailers from the road, so we've done some heavy landscaping in that area, so you wouldn't be able to see the dock area.
And how many dock doors?
How many dock doors are?
I don't see it anywhere.
You don't have a site plan. I would say-
The images that we see, it just looks like auto parking on one side and the other side looks closed off. It looks like,
Those are all dock doors on the other side, just depending on the bay depths, maybe.
I would say 10 to 15, something like that.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, at least that. But again, we're gonna put the dock doors in. There may be a drive-in door along the way. We just don't know how they want to lay out their space. So you always put dock doors in, just to give you flexibility on the whole building.
Will the entrance and exit be gated?
That's up to the tenant. Most, if it would be gated, it'd probably be gated at the bottom, not at the top. And that's up to the tenant. We don't necessarily,
Yeah, my concern is it doesn't look like is there an egression lane that'll be put in? Yeah, it looks like there's, if you're looking at the thing on the left. That's what I'm seeing, and I'm assuming that's what it'll be. Looks like, because I see the turn lanes right there. See the little turn lane? Yeah, I think that's a must.
I'm Sid Howland with Paulson Mitchell Engineers, 85A Mill Street, Roswell, Georgia. And what was the question?
The turn lanes, there's an egress lane and a degress lane coming into the facility?
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes,
I'm assuming right there?
correct.
Okay. On both entrances? Both entrances. Got it. Okay.
So did you all do some type of needs assessment to anticipate a need for a warehouse in this area?
we lease so much space out there. I mean, we leased 20 million square feet of commercial space, warehouse space around the city last year, so we have a pretty good feel. We think there's a demand, yes, or we wouldn't be doing this.
Yeah.
And we don't know we think it's a good piece of property, but There are very limited uses for that property, to be candid with you. It's a mid-block, it's not a commercial piece of property anymore. It's just too mid-block, you need to be on the corner or something else. So I think it'll be that way for a long time if you don't do some type of industrial or some type of user-geared development. This is really user-geared development. If that makes any sense.
I guess I'm just kind of piggybacking on what Mark said. If you anticipate that there's a need, and it's based on how many warehouses we have around, but then I hear you say you don't anticipate large trucks being on it,
No,
it'll be more of a
I said
local?
there'll be normal tractor trailers, yes.
Okay, okay.
But I don't see it being, if I'm guessing, I don't see a heavy type truck use going there because it's too far from the expressway, to be candid with you. If I'd see, my guess is, I've been doing this for a long time, the user will be somewhere out in Douglas County, he'll have his business close to his house, as close as he can, and it's fine because he doesn't mind being further away from the expressway.
Mitchell, where do people that want the larger business with a lot of?
Well, first place, we have.
Where are they going to be located?
They're going to be located in major industrial districts. There's a lot of, they're going to be over in Fulton Industrial, expansion of Fulton Industrial, Camp Creek Parkway, coming all around, the other side of I-20. By the way, there's no large sites on this side of I-20 to speak of. I know Heinz is doing something down the street, but there's really not much left over here. So I think the building will be very attractive for the area. I mean, I was looking at the school board building, very attractive. We're going to be below grade, correct, Arthur? Fairly below grade, so I don't think it's going to be obtrusive at all to the neighborhood at all. And I think it adds value to the area and cleaning it up.
The two houses that are on the property are not occupied today?
That's my
I
knowledge.
think
No,
one of them is.
may-
One of them is.
Okay.
All right. Are there any other questions from the board?
No, the question is just a comment. I mean, I like the idea that it's below grade. You know, I was looking at it in the drawing that it kind of drops down, so it's not, sticking out like the sore thumb. And I understand this early, it's hard to say what kind of use you'll have. Just some traffic concerns for that area with anything being added, not just a warehouse, because that's a
Yeah,
that kind of place. But I do understand the need for, and probably the limited use of that particular stretch of land and where it's located. So I like some renderings. I guess there, some other folks that do some tweaking beyond me, but I like the idea.
I mean, my brother lives across the street from warehouses, and I've lived there for a number of years, and I'm telling you, they're great on weekends and generally great at nights. I mean, they're not as obtrusive as you might think, from our experience, that's all I can tell you.
Yeah. I mean, I ride my bicycle and I run up 78 all the time. And I run through that area, and I understand how something like that would spruce up the place. I think, my concern is, as I've said before, is the amount of tractor trailers I've noticed that have started cutting through these roads. They've come up Durley. Of course, the county has, is it the county or the city that has all their buses parked there? And they're always so, and now that you can come up 92 and cut straight across and be on 78, the possibility of more trucks coming there versus going up 92 and then coming down 78. I can see that because, like I said, I live on Presley Mill, which is a small road over by the Catholic Church. It is not a road for a semi-truck. And just the other day, I have a semi-truck backing into our entrance, practically knocking over our sign. And it's like, what are you cutting through? So, yeah, you can say that, you don't anticipate trucks cutting through there, but truckers do whatever they want. They're big, and they just push people out of the way. And I guess that's why I had said my concern, because like I said, I run up and I ride my bicycle up 78, and I've noticed it's getting harder. It's getting harder to ride up that because there's just so many trucks going up and down it.
They are pretty good neighbors in terms of tax base too, and don't use the schools. So
Yeah.
that's a benefit, major benefit. That's why Buford's such, I don't know, again, Buford's a great example of how industrial can really help a community.
Right.
And jobs and everything else. Sorry, I mean.
All right. All right,
Any other
Thank you.
questions? Thank you so much.
thank you. Is there anyone who would like to speak in favor of the project, ask questions, or make other comments? Please come forward and tell us your name and address. Is there anyone who would like to speak other than in favor of this project? Please come forward and tell us your name and address. Is there any further discussion needed by the board?
I have a quick question. Staff, can you help us one more time understand what you were saying at the end? I know she had a question, and that kind of scrambled my brain a little bit when you were talking about, at the end of your presentation, you said that you don't, anyway, I don't want to put words in your mouth. Can you just tell us that one more time?
For the recommendation?
Yeah.
Okay, so, give me a second because it went off the screen. There we go. All righty, so the way that zoning necessarily works is that like uses, of course, are touching like uses. That will not happen every single time. So there are provisions in the code that says, should there be residential parcels near unfamiliar or on a different parcel as far as land use, then there are certain parameters that should be considered. So I'm saying, should you recommend approval, I am asking for that buffer to remain. That will be in addition to the 100-foot setback. So with that being said, the code already requires the 150-foot, but I'm asking for it to be a condition so that they will not be able to come back and ask for the
Yeah,
variance
it
to
makes
remove
sense.
it.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
That's not at all what I thought you were saying, so, okay, cool. I'm glad I clarified that.
Yes, sir.
Does that make sense for you? Or, I mean, because you had mentioned that you were just trying to figure out what the staff was saying.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
One question for the staff, but your recommendation is that it not be approved, but if it is approved, these are the additions that you would require.
Correct. Correct.
Okay. Is there any other need for discussion? Okay. Do I have a motion regarding this application?
I make a motion that we approve the application.
Is there a second?
I'll second the motion along with the stipulations by the committee
Yeah.
with the buffer.
All right. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed?
Nay.
Okay, so if you can vote on your iPad?
Sir Chairman, the motion did not state the stipulations, the second did. So the motion has to state the motion for the conditions to be included. The motion did not. So I want to make clear for the record that we're including. Thank you.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
All right.
I would like for that to stay in there, for sure.
Point of order, if you would like to amend your motion.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Is there a motion to amend our motion?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion that the stipulations suggested by staff stay in place for the 150-foot setback, and the motion be approved.
Is there a second?
And I'll second.
All right, all in favor signify by saying aye. Actually, also voting on your iPad.
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
Okay. Do we have three yeses and 3 nos?
It didn't come up.
Yeah, I'm still struggling to figure out what we got.
So we have one, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. We're missing somebody here.
Is my name?
See, Nate? Nope. We're missing you, Natalie. Okay. All right. The motion did not pass, and the application is recommended denial. Thank you. Do we have any staff reports?
Yeah, we got one other item.
Okay, what's the other item? You have to excuse me, where? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. This is the one on Skyview Drive, right?
Correct.
Oh. All right. The second case is item 22-218, hold a public hearing and consider a request for a special land use permit for a package and distribution facility for property zoned LI Light Industrial District, being plus or minus 25.88 acres at 2120 and 2084 Skyview Drive in land lots 480, 481, 521, and 522. District 18, Section 2, parcels 1 and 3. Application by Home Chef, John Kloss. Staff will now present the item.
Yes, sir. So the item before you, the applicant has asked to have it deferred until the August 11th and August 15th decision. With that, you must make a motion to accept the deferral. So I'm saying the wrong date, I'm sorry. The 2nd, I apologize for that. It's August 2nd, so that you'll be accepting the deferral to come back to you on the 2nd for your meeting. You have other items on that agenda, so that meeting was already called.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So do I have a motion regarding this application to defer it?
I move that we accept the motion for deferral until the August meeting.
Do I have a second?
Second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? The motion is passed and recommended to be deferred till August 2nd. Thank you. Now, do I have any staff reports?
Really quickly, Sir Chairman, I sent an email out to everyone asking if you all would like to attend a training for planning and zoning. I have not heard from everyone yet, so if you could just reply back tonight, that would be great, so that I can provide that report back to the city manager. And then that's pretty much it for now, so yes,
All
sir.
right. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
If there is no further discussions or items, I call that we adjourn this meeting.